Are we live now? Okay.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Hello. The link for joining, StreamYard link, ma'am. Okay. I'm sending it. I'm sending it. Just give me a minute. I think so. I have, ma'am. I'm about to send you, ma'am. Right. Okay. Please wait just for a minute. I'm very sorry for that keeping you on waiting. Ma'am. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And I'm extremely sorry for this delay. Actually, one of our panelists, Madam Shahnaz Wazir Ali, you all know that. And she is actually unable to join. There is some connectivity issue. And this issue we have been facing since that the outbreak of the COVID-19. So almost every one of us have experienced such kind of that experiences at our end. I am extremely happy, and it's a warm welcome and good afternoon to everyone. This is webinars and panel discussion series, an initiative by the SZABIST, especially at the time of COVID-19. Since the last 1 year, we have been doing this program. Just a little introduction of the SZABIST. SZABIST started in 1995 with its first campus in Karachi. Last year, we celebrated our silver jubilee here. Today, SZABIST comprises of 6 campuses located in Karachi, Hyderabad, Larkana, Islamabad, Dubai, and Cairo campus, with a current student population of over 12,000. The best thing is, SZABIST has proudly awarded degrees to almost 15,000 talented graduates. And SZABIST offers 6 different disciplines: management sciences, computer sciences, media sciences, social sciences, mechatronic, engineering, education, life sciences, and law. This series of webinar is a range of topics starting from media sciences to social sciences and from management to the field of education. So we have been organizing these webinars to keep the people updated, and especially the educationists and students, and even the people who are sitting at home and who have some kind of interest. They can learn from the experienced and learned people. In normal circumstances, it might not have been possible for them to listen to these kind of people regularly. But thanks to the social media, thanks to this COVID-19 somehow, that we are able to hear you people continuously and regularly. I am extremely excited, rather elated, that today we have some of the most distinguished names in the field of education to share their views and experiences and the importance of teacher education programs and its impact on quality of education. They have such august and formidable profiles that it is onerous to pick what to share and what not, but still I have to introduce them. This is a laborious task for me to introduce them. First of all, we have Madam Shahnaz Wazir Ali with us, and her name is not new to anyone. She is a recipient of 𝗙𝗪𝗎 in 2016 for her services to education. She has an illustrious career as an educationist, development policy specialist, special assistant to the Prime Minister on social sector, and as a well-known women's rights activist. She has been member of National Assembly from 2008 to 13 and has served at various key positions at the government level in the last 30 years. His career starts from 1965 when she commenced teaching primary school children and deprived communities in Karachi, and subsequently spent about 15 years in teaching and administrative position in the private sector, which included being principal at the Lahore American School. She is also a trustee at the Education Trust, which runs Nasra Schools of Children of Low-Income Families in Karachi and provides K-10 education to more than 10,000 students. Again, as I said, it's a huge list, that to include, but she has been currently working as the president of SZABIST, and she is looking after all the 6 campuses at different places located nationally and internationally. A very warm welcome, Ma'am Shahnaz Wazir Ali. Can you hear me, ma'am, right now? No, still, I think there is some problem. Then we have Madam Baela Raza, a foremost and well-known educationist of Pakistan, and she is CEO of Idara-e-Taleem-o-Aagahi, Center of Education and Consciousness, is a public policy specialist and an activist at HERD. She is the former technical advisor to the Federal Ministry of Education, Pakistan. She has worked with provincial and federal governments, advising on education sector reforms and policies embedded in right to education, sector-wide approaches from ECD to post-secondary education, inclusion, workforce initiatives, public-private partnership, innovations, and financing. She leads the Citizens Accountability Learning Initiatives, the annual Status of Education Report (SR), which has been working tremendously, and is a founder of Children's Teachers Literature Festival. Both are nationwide social movements. She has been a commissioner to the International Commission on Financing Global Education Opportunity, Education Commission chaired by Gordon Brown. Baela serves on several advisory platforms globally: UNESCO, GAML, UNESCO, UIS, PAL networks, and there is a huge list again. Ma'am Baela, thank you very much for joining us. That in the holy month of Ramadan, it's that opportunity to learn a lot from you. Then Professor Abbas Husain, a famous trainer, that almost everywhere in Pakistan he has provided. He is yes, not only in the Pakistan but internationally. That he has trained so many teachers, and he has spread his knowledge. The good thing about Abbas Husain, that he is a very down-to-the-earth person, and he is such a nice personality, easy to access. And that is why he received Lifetime Achievement Award from Millennium Institute for Professional Development, Islamabad, the most in Pakistan, Dr. 𝗙𝗪𝗕𝗓 Khan, in February 2020. He has, been a consultant for UNICEF at the regional conference in Kathmandu, Nepal, 1998, and has appeared in various national and international TV channels. He attended the National Prayer Breakfast with President Barack Obama in 2009 as chief guest. His international reputation is based on teachers training workshops conducted in Muscat, Oman, Dubai, UAE, Kabul, Afghanistan, and many other places, including India. He has reached over 85,000 teachers all over Pakistan as director. Teachers Development Center, which is well known for its master's teachers courses since 1997, his mentoring, training, and consultations on education have made him an authoritative voice in all serious discussions on education in Pakistan. Thank you very much, Professor Saab, for joining us. And without any delay, I must share the objectives of today's programs, and then I will not keep the audience waiting and will ask them to listen to you people. 3 major objectives are for today's program. Number one, we are looking forward to understand the term quality education and its understanding and value in Pakistan. Number 2, we'll try to highlight importance of teacher education programs to impart quality education. And the last one is to find out a way forward, what is the future of these programs and how these functions. I guess Ma'am Baela and Dr. Abbas Husain, Professor Abbas, are you ready, sir? Shall we start? We are ready. Bilkul. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. The first question which comes in my mind, and specifically in the context of this today's program, is that quality education is a term which can be defined and understood differently. Some people believe that attaining degrees, percentages, good CGPA, and some and enrollment of numbers of students in programs that indicates that we are providing quality education. A person comes back at home having 3.5, 3.8 GPA. He thinks we are attaining quality education. A student getting 85 percentages, 80 percentages passing. So teachers thinks there is a quality education provided to them. So what do you think, and in your opinion, what is the quality education? Whether this is what we can measure like CGPAs and having passing and failing ratios or something like that, or there are other terms for that. I will start asking from Ma'am Baela Raza, and then we'll proceed towards Professor Abbas.
Thank you very much, Naeem Akhter Sahab, and want to congratulate SZABIST for this initiative, much needed initiative to have conversations like this. Just wanted to clarify, should we speak in English? Should we speak in both languages? Just wanted to be clear.
Ma'am, जिसमें भी हम लोगों तक मैसेज पहुंचा सके, हमारी ऑडियंस में दोनों तरह के लोग हैं, तो बेहतर ये होगा कि हम दोनों लैंग्वेजेस को यूज कर सकते हैं।
जबरदस्त। ओके, तो क्वालिटी की बात तो हम लोग सब उसी में लगे हुए हैं, वरना ना ज़ाबिस्ट होता, ना असर होता, ना TGC होता, ना इदारा होता। तो क्वालिटी इज़ अ वेरी बिग चैलेंज फॉर अस। अब क्वालिटी को अनपैक करने के लिए एक तो बहुत सादे से हमारे पास टूल्स हैं। मैं सादे इसलिए कहती हूँ क्योंकि असर के टूल्स तो बहुत सादा हैं। और इसी तरह से गाहे बगाहे, चाहे वो हमने IBS अखर के SAT SATs किए या पंजाब में PEC किए या जो भी है at the primary level or middle level, and then of course our dreaded BISE board exams of 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, etc. तो कुछ ना कुछ मेजरमेंट की किसी ना किसी तरीके से ज़रूरत रहती है। अफसोस के साथ ये कहना पड़ता है कि उन मेजरमेंट टूल्स में हम लोग हमेशा हम देखते हैं कि उसमें हमें बहुत खातिर खा कोई कामयाबी नज़र नहीं आती। डेटा year upon year reveals that our progress is extremely slow, and then we go behind what is it that is not being able to get to that quality at its very simplest form, mane that some kind of a tool and measure which says that children were able to do this or the other. Now, we have to, no matter how you look at it, we have to look at some measurement indices, and these could be the global proficiency frameworks, and there is no worry to say कि भाई global तो बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है। नहीं, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। The global proficiency frameworks, which are standards or SLOs that we may say, are pretty standard, and if those were shared, you would say, of course, अगर ये भी ना हो तो फिर हम कैसे करेंगे? So it's very important to see what is it that we are really trying to measure in different subjects, whether it's language or numeracy, etc. But having said that, we are looking on the one hand at the so-called academic measurement of quality. But when we look at the academic measurement quality and feel the challenge of that, we have to more and more, what we are now calling is कि teachers जो हैं और जो classrooms जो हैं उसमें environment ऐसी conducive है. Do we see teachers as effective communicators of anything, any message? Because unless and until that effective communication by the teachers is not there, the child becomes the biggest elephant in the room. जितनी भी हमने researches की हैं, टीच की सिंध में ले लीजिए, पंजाब में ले लीजिए और मुल्कों में ले लीजिए, it's again and again what comes out is कि टीचर्स को बहुत कुछ आता है. पाकिस्तान में टीचर्स की क्वालिफिकेशन बेहतर से बेहतर हो रही है. अब आपकी एंट्री मेरिट बेस्ड एंट्री बेहतर से बेहतर हो रही है. But yet the teacher is unable really to be an effective communicator. And finally, I'll stop at two small things. Increasingly, the research is showing that the cognitive skills are important, but so are the so-called non-cognitive or life-based skills, which are very important. Sometimes it is those that lead to a trigger for the cognitive ones. Mane, when the teacher is working with students on their capability for expression or leadership, or to be able to speak about issues which are social emotional issues with some level of confidence, of issues of conflict at the household or the community level, that capability is the trigger for what would then be seen as the cognitive skills that they gain. Now, what that means today is that the classrooms cannot be the usual traditional classrooms, but they have to be seen very holistically, where the end result then becomes your measures of quality, whether it is, whatever you want to call those measures of quality, which have a standard way of reporting to the world, whether it's things of PISA or the exams or the SAT exams or the SRS test or whatever. So I'll stop at that. So quality is not a simple notion. Behind that, there are lots of processes, including non-cognitive or life skills. Thank you.
आप muted हैं डॉक्टर साहब. Yeah.
We can't hear you, Dr. Naeem.
Professor Saab, can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Now we can. Now.
Okay. The same question for you. You know that we have defined the background of the quality education, and Ma'am Baela Raza has given the same thing.
You are asking me?
Yes.
All right. I noticed, ma'am, our president is here. Okay. Baela Sahiba has spread out the landscape of the issue, as I put it. She has told us the dynamics of quality. I'm going to take two takes on it, two sentences. One, when I have a school where a child is willing to come next day, tomorrow, when I have a school where the child is willing to come, primary, secondary, when the child loves to come to school, when he or she wants to come to school, I have hit quality, check. And number two, when I have a staff room where my teachers do not leave the school because they say, I can't let my peers down. मैं स्कूल के अपने साथियों के साथ ये ज्यादती नहीं कर सकती कि मैं 1000-2000 रुपए के खातिर ये नौकरी छोड़ के इस स्कूल से निकल के मैं उस स्कूल में चली जाऊं. जब इस दर्जे की बॉन्डिंग स्टाफ रूम में हो जाए, वी हैव क्वालिटी. बस तो क्लासरूम में क्वालिटी ये कि बच्चा चाहे मैं कल भी आऊं खुशी से, और स्टाफ रूम में क्वालिटी ये कि टीचर्स की आपस में बॉन्डिंग हो. ये दो चीजें अब इसके लिए जो करने की जरूरत है वो करें. बट दिस वुड बी माय टेक ऑन इट. थैंक यू.
Very comprehensive, sir. You have given whatever the Ma'am Baela has said, and you have given that a true definition that if the students and the teachers are happy, that means they are providing and imparting quality education. Ma'am Shahnaz, ma'am, can you hear me? Madam Shahnaz?
I can hear you. I hope you can all hear me.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Seems there was
Welcome
some
for joining us.
internet issue on this side. Thank you very much on behalf of SZABIST. Also, I'd very much like to thank Abbas Husain Saab, and colleague, friend, mentor, guide, and amazing inspiration. Also, Dr. Raza Jamil, whose contribution to the education sector is really
No doubt.
very distinctive, of great significance, of great content, and has been there for many, many decades. I think she has brought the dialogue around education issues into the ambit of analysis and intellectual understanding. It's not there before. And I remember when Dr. Baela joined the ministry as an advisor, how much difference we began to see in the way public sector policy was also looked at and analyzed and presented. Thank you very much to Baela and Abbas for joining us. And thank you, my apologies. I think we're addressing the question of quality. I think quality has come to mean many things, as we know. Initially, many years ago, we thought of quality as very closely connected with learning outcomes, of education. In other words, we meant not really education environment, but is a child doing well, is a student doing well in a particular subject, and that meant that they're getting quality education. So how did we all look at schools? We said, well, there are schools such as grammar school and other well-known schools that produce top-level results, so they're good quality schools. That was a very, I think, simplistic description, because it looked at just at the last stage of outcomes. And schools were known for many decades, and even now, as being really good quality schools because they produce excellent results in their terminal examinations, whether they're internal examinations or external. But quality has begun to actually, I think we've begun to unfold and really look much deeper into the meaning of quality. Now we are really talking about the sum total comprehensive, emotional, psychological, intellectual, academic experience that a student goes through when he or she enters school. So it's the quality of interaction, the quality of what is the value system, what is the supportive environment for nurturing learning for each student. And I hope someday we will have public sector schools that will also go for individually based learning, because as we know, everybody does learn in a different way, in a different manner. So quality has begun to mean many things. And again and again to how do schools actually implement quality by looking at a set of critical indicators. It really is important to, I think, continue to have discussions like this. Because some of the quality indicators can be easily measured and some cannot be easily measured. Not because they're immeasurable or not, it's because we don't really have all the instruments that can give us even proximate measurements of a quality learning environment. So actually what
I think she has got disconnected. There is a continuous internet issue over there. Now, we proceed further, ma'am. As we have been discussing, we have been asking that the teachers are one of the major pillars who ensure the quality of education. And what is being noticed, there are two major criteria in Pakistan to induct the teachers. The first thing people look into that whether a person is having required qualification or degree. For example, masters in mathematics, he should be able to teach maths. Masters in English, he should be able to teach English. So means a degree is important, the first criteria. The second one is if a person has some kind of corporate experience. HEC's 2013, if you see the curriculum and the course allocation meeting was held, and they said that we should bring the people from the corporate sectors. So these are the two major criteria which we are looking forward in Pakistan. But do you think that teacher education programs are also very important? And what is the most important among these three? Whether it is important only a person should have degree and he should start teaching, and a person is MS and he should start teaching, or he should know what is teaching first, then he should start teaching. We'll start from Professor Abbas Husain, then we will come back.
Thank you. We have tried that and we know it doesn't work. Dr. Naeem, what you just said, your closing sentence, when a teacher has MSc in biochemistry or a PhD from France in food technology, or a PhD from Hong Kong or China. What we are measuring is content knowledge. Content knowledge is in place, and yes, it must be in place. Primary teacher, secondary, higher secondary, or university, no issue. Content knowledge is not the problem. It is the delivery that is the problem. And so my favorite sentence, I say a ninth grade child once said to me about her teacher, "Unhe physics to bahut aati hai, padhana nahi aata." And I quote this and I say, my friends, आप जब ये जुमला किसी के बारे में सुनते हैं तो क्या ख्याल है, और अगर ये जुमला आपके बारे में कहा जाए तो क्या ख्याल है? There is no doubt that the skills of delivery deserve attention. There is no doubt that the skills of teaching, of interaction, of asking and responding to questions, of pauses, of pacing, of your eye contact with the people, of being able to give dignity and respect to each person in the room, these are not things that come automatically because you've studied biochemistry or food technology or chemical engineering. They come by deliberate attention to these things, and therefore a teacher education program that gives attention to these things is a must. We have tried that other thing, and that is perhaps a reason of our collapse, of our overall collapse. Why PhDs and others, they may be wonderful as researchers and as paper writers and things like that, but they are terrible, maybe, sometimes. But that's the whole point. And this is the other problem about the born teacher nonsense. There are people who believe कि अरे मियाँ अब्बास साहब आप क्या बातें करते हैं, हमारे फलां टीचर थे, अरे क्या बात थी, जी we know. My friend, यही तो मसला है. The born teacher does not make other teachers capable because he or she does the best thing unconsciously. It is the person who does them consciously who can train other people what to do. So the real question goes somewhere else. ये born teacher वगैरह सब फजूल बात है. आप training में आए, education, that lies the hope. Thank you. I'll pause here.
I would sum up after listening to Ma'am Baela Raza first. Dr.
So I think the whole aspect of teacher characteristics is a very important one. Nobody's saying let's ignore it. But how do teacher characteristics, even the perfect ones, translate into learning coming alive in the classroom? And I want to get away from the notion that we are still stuck with the idea that teacher perfect ho or bas wo passively या even थोड़ी सी actively भी वो student में transfer करेगी. The act of learning is a joint enterprise. And as Abbas says, the teacher almost has to unlearn some of the notions of the teacher transferring stuff onto students कि जिसमें कहें physics तो आती है मगर पढ़ाना नहीं आता. तो वो जो act of पढ़ाना है ना, वो जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है, उस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के लिए टीचर को वो जो आर्ट और साइंस है ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन, जो मैंने पहले भी कहा था, इज टीचर अ गुड कम्युनिकेटर? Does teacher have a good grasp on the non-cognitive areas of the ability to speak, to communicate, to bring the best out in the student, to be able to take learning and application to another level? वो आपको इम्तिहान टीचर की क्वालिफिकेशंस में नहीं आते. That has to be a very conscious act of learning and training. Now, the data is showing for us, even the recent work that we just did to get teachers' voices for the Pakistan education policy, which is being brewing, which is hopefully supposed to be coming out soon. But anyway, we found out that while on a positive side, almost 70% teachers had smartphones, were accessible, etc. मगर उनकी training की opportunities अभी भी बहुत कम हैं. 70% do not really get trained. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा मसला है कि टीचर्स को मौके नहीं मिल रहे to be able to upgrade their skills as communicators in the 21st century, where they begin to see the students completely in a different light. And therefore, the student becomes really a very lively variable inside the classroom. तो वो जो स्टूडेंट की नॉलेज और एक्सपीरियंस है उससे किस तरह से एंगेज करना है, ये एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. अभी मैं आज ही सुबह मैं ट्विटर पे देख रही थी, एक यंग स्टूडेंट है ग्रेड 10 का, वो सईद गनी साहब से ये सवाल पूछ रहा है कि आप मुझे बताइए कि ये जो इम्तिहान आएंगे, मैंने तो सिर्फ 2 महीने पढ़ा है, तो इम्तिहान किस चीज पे आए, हमें किस तरह से आप असेस करेंगे? How is this? So this conversation never takes place in the classroom. बिचारी टीचर्स को बता दिया गया कि ये आपका abridged या accelerated curriculum, shortened curriculum है. अच्छा, वो कैसे इस सारे कोविड पीरियड में पहुंच रहा है? In a way, COVID has become an absolutely exciting space, a very tragic but exciting space for us to re-examine what does it mean for a teacher really to become that magician or the transformative agent of learning inside the classroom. And that, Abbas is 100% correct, has to come with those additional skills beyond the qualification. And all of that is going through a very rapid period of change, especially during COVID. सारे मफरूज़े हमारे अलग रह गए हैं, उसको अलग रखना पड़ेगा और अब नए तरीके से सोचना पड़ेगा जहाँ पे स्टूडेंट और टीचर बहुत इक्वलाइज्ड है और वहाँ पे पेरेंट्स भी बहुत एक्टिव हो गया है. So this is a very changing, a tremendously exciting and changing phase of teachers. And just on a positive note, the teachers are wanting to change. The teachers are wanting to be taken dynamically. So it's a moment, it's a tipping point for looking at quality in a lively, dynamic manner.
True. As you both have agreed on this part, that teacher education programs is, that the need of the time. But a very important point have been highlighted by you, that the changing dynamics. Now, the obsolete are the traditional teacher training programs may not be as much important as in the current context, as teacher and students are having almost the same that access to knowledge, experience. Google is there, Wikipedia is there, so teacher cannot fool them. They know that the new strategies and new techniques should be incorporated and new ways should be imparted now to the teachers and teacher training programs, which should help. Ma'am President, I was asking the question to these two honorable guests, that whether the degrees are maybe the experience, even that is more important, or we should impart teacher training programs. If you could please hear me. Your picture is still, I guess, it's paused. I guess so.
StreamYard can be a challenge. What a pity.
It's unfortunate that we can't hear.
Maybe she could record it and you can replay that. Can she record it on a WhatsApp and you can just replay it? And whilst we can continue talking, it would be wonderful.
Yes, that. Ma'am, if you're listening,
and record it and send it to us. We can play her sound, on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
But please also, we must remember that just like it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a team to teach a child. This is a team's approach, not a single teacher magician approach. ये teams का तो है ना कमाल.
If I can come in now, Baela, this talking about the silver lining, Dr. Naeem, if I can add a comment here.
Sure, sir, why not? It would be a privilege to listen. You people should keep on speaking. I should be silent.
I was listening to a Belgium school teacher on an online program during the pandemic. And she said a profound question. She asked a profound question. Is COVID-19 the problem and online learning the solution? Or is COVID the solution? And I thought, wallah, that's it. COVID is a superb, I agree absolutely with Baela. COVID is an excellent chance for us to disrupt education. And the scholars are now asking, if not now, when? This is the best chance when we have the entire planet in a mode of reset. So what are we waiting for if we want to reset education in our country? I think it's a golden opportunity. Thank you.
और आई थिंक एक बहुत बड़ी बात है कि देखिए इस सारे साल के अंदर what we never imagined happened. You have the teleschool happening from 8 to 6 in the evening. 10 criticize कर लीजिए, but the point is, even if 30%, as research shows, are watching television and teleschool, that is still 13 million children. This is not a small number. So the question is, अगर content बेहतर हो जाए और अगर हम WhatsApp ग्रुप्स पे ज्यादा एक्साइटिंग काम करने लग जाएं, हमारे यहाँ जो ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट की इतना बड़ा नासूर था, इतना बड़ा नासूर है अभी भी, we are beginning to see the trust deficit finally have some parting, because we're beginning to see people being able to implicitly trust children, implicitly trust parents, implicitly trust teachers or any other bhala insan who's facilitating. इसका मतलब ये है कि पाकिस्तान में एक almost नया cadre emerge कर रहा है. We are talking about a new cadres of learning. Be it the students, be it people like Abbas and the whole cadre of educators like that, be it parents who are suddenly not saying ये तो teacher का काम है, और teacher saying कि ये तो parents का काम है, और बच्चों की तो कोई बात ही नहीं सुन रहा. So I think we are in a very exciting period of a real reset, as Abbas said. But I don't think reset is even the right word. I don't know what the right, but certainly it's a new paradigm of learning.
It's a major.
A new paradigm of learning, और जिसमें सारी दुनिया मुब्तला है. तो हम लोग बहुत लोगों से सीख रहे हैं, मगर इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हमारे पास कोई मेजरमेंट के पैमाने नहीं होंगे. पैमाने रहेंगे, मगर हम किस तरह से उस अमल क्या होगा to reach those पैमानास. I think उसमें जो अब्बास ने शुरू में कहा कि तालीम एक खुशी का सफर होना चाहिए. Of course, a lot of hard work, but there must be the teacher, the student, the parent. There must be an entitlement to human happiness. Human happiness is very, very important.
Okay, so from here, you know that there is another question. Human happiness. Teachers and students both should be happier. But what happens in Pakistan, it is a general perception. I'm not sure what statistics suggest, but it's a general perception in Pakistan that the people, the youth, they come or jump into this teaching profession by chance, or maybe, you know, that by force, you know, that they have no other option and they come here. It's not considered a profession like being a doctor or being engineer, or maybe even sometimes people prefer to join any other arts field, but being a teacher, you know, that people think it's a job which has no respect, maybe, or something like that. So how to you know, that motivate the youth that start thinking teaching as a serious profession? Ma'am Baela was just talking to me just before this, that attractive salaries are there. There is a good future as well, 6-digit salaries, and even, you know, that some teachers from O and A level, they earn in millions as well. You know, that Abbas will definitely tell us. So it can be an attractive profession, but what steps and how to tell the youth that take it as a serious profession, become expert of it, like surgeon of medicine, like, you know, that expert software person, be a software person, or be a master person in teaching as well. So my question is there, that what are the ways to attract the youth towards these programs?
Can I, Baela ji, okay. There are good news. I mean, is point ke upar there is good news. I was listening to the Education Minister of Indonesia, Naeem Akhter, who is only 35 years old and the youngest education minister in the Muslim world today. And he is on record. This is a live program I heard from Indonesia in a dialogue. It is not on YouTube yet. It will come, but abhi tak nahi hai. He said that the young people today are inspired by three things. They are inspired by purpose, vision, and direction. If you give them something which has a deep purpose, if it is something which has a direction, and if it has a vision behind it, if you take these three things, you have got the heart of the youth, because they are looking after meaning. And Dr. Sahab, I would really, put another point to this. Nobody comes to teaching because they want to earn. ये एक बिल्कुल मुसल्लिमा हकीकत है. कोई इंसान टीचिंग में इसलिए नहीं आता कि वो बहुत रईस हो जाएगा, बहुत रिच हो जाएगा. रिच होने के लिए दूसरे काम बहुत अच्छे हैं जिसमें वो जा सकता है और जाता है. ये मसला नहीं है. नहीं, आई बिलीव कि टीचिंग में आने वाली नई नस्ल को अगर हम ये बता दें कि कौम के मेमार का वाहिद पेशा यही है, यानी अगर 2030 पाकिस्तान में जीने के लायक रहेगा, if life in Pakistan in the year 2030 is going to be worth it, वो इसलिए होगा कि आज का उस्ताद बच्चों के दिलों में विजन, पर्पस और डायरेक्शन डाल रहा है. अगर वो हम यहाँ नाकाम हुए तो वो पाकिस्तान में जिसमें ये बच्चे आएंगे वो जीने के लायक नहीं होगा. फिर वो खुदकुश बॉम्बर्स के, गैंग वॉर्स के, एटीएम के बाहर खड़े हुए लोग के, लूटमार वालों के, सैडली फिर हमारा वो सारा डायनामिक खुलेगा जो कि बहुत अफसोस का एक बड़ा डरावना विजन है.
प्रोफेसर साहब, यही तो चैलेंज है. दिस इज व्हाट द चैलेंज इज. You know that how everyone wants to earn. You know that they have this passion, middle class. Okay. You know that after getting education.
नहीं, we know money above a particular point becomes a distraction. ये देखिए, ये भी एक
it comes through experience. It comes through experience. You know that being realistic, you know that the person at the age of 16, 18, 17, that person might not understand these things, these experience things.
That is true. But then again, in the real world, we are able to tell young people, because there is, what are your needs? They will be taken care of, not all your desires. So that's, it's a hard sell.
मैं आपके सामने 2-3 सिनेरियोस पेश करती हूँ. मगर सबसे पहले ये कि सरकारी हवाले से तो जो टीचर्स की सैलरीज पिछले ख्याल में 15 बरस में बढ़ी हैं पब्लिक सेक्टर में, दे आर फिनोमिनल. यानी कि अर्ली चाइल्डहुड में हमने लड़ के सिंध में BPS 15 यानी स्केल 15 पे किया, प्राइमरी से भी ज्यादा. ना आप लोग इसको रियलाइज नहीं करते कि इसका मैसेज क्या है कि भाई फाउंडेशनल लर्निंग के ऊपर आप यू नीड अ बिगर स्केल देन इवन फॉर प्राइमरी. वो भी आया. तो एक तो टीचर सैलरीज पब्लिक सेक्टर में फिनोमिनली बढ़ गई, मेरिट बेस्ड हायरिंग होने लग गई. और अब जो टीचर्स रिटायर करते हैं ग्रेड 19 पे या 20 पे, तो उनकी सिर्फ पेंशन जो है वो तकरीबन 1.5 लाख है. कभी आपने सोचा था कि ये होगा? ये हो रहा है. Everybody knows about it. Some people are going in. So, but Abbas का पॉइंट बिल्कुल दुरुस्त है कि भाई इसमें आप बिलियनियर्स नहीं निकलते हो, मगर आप एक मैसिव इन्फ्लुएंसर्स बन के निकलते हो. हमारा जो यूथ है आजकल का, वो इसके इंतजार में है वाकई में. दे वांट स्टैंडर्ड्स. और इतने 20 साल से, शहनाज नहीं है इस वक्त, मगर 20 साल से गुफ्तगू हो रही है टीचर्स लाइसेंसिंग की. मतलब हम थक गए ये कह कर. कौन सा बड़ा मुहिम है कि हम लाइसेंसिंग नहीं कर सकते? अगर लाइसेंसिंग कर लें तो अच्छी बात है, बिकॉज उसमें एक मजीद एक सर्टिफिकेशन।
अच्छा मैम इसकी तरफ यकीनन हम आते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन के अंदर, इस सर्टिफिकेशन पे यकीनन हम बात करते हैं, बिकॉज वी आई हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ द टाइम एज वेल, कि ताकि हम टाइमली इसको सम अप भी कर सके। बहरहाल दैट्स अ गुड न्यूज। मैम बेला एंड यू नो दैट सर अब्बास हुसैन हैव वेरी राइटली सेड कि दिस प्रोफेशन इज नॉट अ प्रोफेशन एनीमोर कि जहां यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू अर्न अ लॉट। इट्स अ डिसेंट प्रोफेशन राइट नाउ एंड डिसेंट सैलरीज आर देयर। इट्स अ गुड न्यूज। And all those, you know, that prospective teachers who are listening our program, they should, you know, inspire themselves and the friend and the family members of theirs that they should join this profession. SZABIST is also offering this program, and many other universities are offering in Pakistan, you know, that these programs 1.5 and 2.5 year BA program. Unfortunately, MA education program has been discontinued by the HSE, and we have to actually follow the policies by HSE. But these programs, Achha, one question which I always want to ask. Every government, PTI, People's Party, this might be a little political question, but I would like to ask you, they always claim that education would be our priority. If we win, education would be our priority. But whenever we see the education ministers, I have very seldom seen that Ma'am Baela, Raza, Abbas Husain, Madam Shahnaz Wazir Ali, they have been asked to come and join as an education minister of SAIN, that education minister of Federation, and bring a team of 20, 30 people, 50 people from different provinces, sit together, you know, that go for educational emergency and bring some kind of solution which comes from heart, not from going abroad, having watched one conference and coming back with some kind of plan from there. So why not they ask you people or the other education, prominent education, to sit together? You people run this education setup. We are not responsible. They seem irrelevant. So what's the reason behind that?
आपका सवाल ये है कि जो मुख्तलिफ गवर्नमेंट्स हैं वो जो रिफॉर्म्स लेकर आना चाहती हैं वो सब इकट्ठे हम जैसे लोगों को क्यों नहीं बिठाती हैं, आप ये कह रहे हैं? नहीं, हम लोग के जैसे लोगों को तो सारा वक्त बिठाती हैं, मगर क्या फायदा है इन दी एंड?
आपके हाथ में डिसीजन मेकिंग,
हमारे हाथ में तो डिसीजन मेकिंग हो नहीं सकती अब्बास और मेरे हाथ में, वो इस वजह से नहीं हो सकती। ऑल्दो माइंड यू, व्हेन आई वाज टेक्निकल एडवाइजर, बहुत सारी डिसीजंस, बहुत सारे रिफॉर्म्स की डिजाइनिंग और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन भी हुई थी, मगर इट्स नॉट इनफ कि 3-4 बरस हों। ये जो हमारा 73 बरस का एक बैकलॉग है, इट नीड्स अ मैसिव अमाउंट ऑफ रिफॉर्म एंड लिबरेशन। हाउएवर हमारे वी आर प्रिक्लूडेड, while the democratic deepening is a very good thing कि हमारे यहाँ हर 5 साल इलेक्शंस होते हैं, मगर हमारे यहाँ इलेक्शंस के हम कैप्टिव्स भी रहते हैं, क्योंकि वो एक बहुत बड़ा वोट बैंक है। 2 मिलियन टीचर्स किसी मुल्क में होना कोई छोटी मोटी वोट बैंक नहीं होता, मगर उस वोट बैंक को हम लोग क्या कहते हैं, एक्रोबैटिक्स करवाते रहते हैं। हमें बेचारे टीचर्स को पता है कि 1.5 बरस तक जब नई गवर्नमेंट आती है तो कुछ भी नहीं होता। वो पहले होती रहती कि पहली हुकूमत हमें खाली करके चली गई, उसका रोना, फिर हम सिंगल नेशनल करिकुलम की बीन बजाते हैं, उसकी तरफ लग जाते हैं, और उसके बाद फिर वतन मालूम नहीं क्या होगा और फिर कुछ और हो जाएगा। तो हम टिक के रिफॉर्म्स नहीं कर पाते हैं, और द पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी ऑफ एजुकेशन टेक्स द बेटर ऑफ serious reforms in education, which frankly speaking really should be teacher led in many ways. Nobody better than teachers to be able to spearhead and take those reforms right to the end, and people like us would be just enablers. But teachers में इतना कोई होता नहीं। कभी उनको एक puppet साहब कहते हैं आप अब चीनी को देख लें, फिर कहते हैं इम्यूनाइजेशन हो रही है, फिर कहते हैं आउट ऑफ स्कूल वो सरकार में होता है, प्राइवेट सेक्टर में भी कांस्टेंट होता है। मेरी बेटी पढ़ रही है, पोती पढ़ रही है स्कूल में, 6 दफा उसके तो इम्तिहान हो चुके हैं इसी कोविड पीरियड में। आई मीन, यू नो, गिव मी अ ब्रेक। So the point is, we need to decide what is it that we really want. And I tell you, the politicians are zero committed to education. This is not serious at all. Please, We have only a 1 year window out of a 5-year window of a political setup. 5 साल में सिर्फ 1 साल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का होता है या 1.5 बरस, और वो भी अगर आप सिंगल नेशनल करिकुलम के पीछे भागना शुरू कर दें, which is really going nowhere at the end of the day. I'm willing to say and stake myself to it कि देखिए इस तरह से नहीं काम चलता. बहुत फंडामेंटल चीजें, हमारे बच्चे बड़े दुखी हैं इस वक्त. We need to make learning a pleasurable, happy act. मैं तो कहती हूँ 3 पहली जमातों में 15 कहानियां बच्चों को सुना दीजिए, उसी में आपकी सोशल स्टडीज, उसी में मैथ्स, उसी में सब कुछ हो जाएगी, उसी में एथिक्स हो जाएंगे, हर चीज हो जाएगी. Must you do 5 subjects till grade 5, 6 subjects till grade 5, till grade 3, and then 6 subjects from 4 and 5? ये क्या हो रहा है? ये ना करें. देखें, we all know what education should be about. We should see it as a grand compact with everyone there. It's not a question of me or Abbas. There are many wonderful people out there to implement. मगर वक्त चाहिए, वक्त चाहिए.
जी प्रोफेसर साहब, आप क्या?
हाँ, 2 comments. Wonderful. I mean, Baela, yes, that is it. But that is also another problem, that we need to make the irrelevant and not give them space and time and give them relevance. Okay. My first point is about, we should, let's take a look at this sentence. Measure what we value, not value what we measure. We should measure what we value, not value what we measure. ये जुमला मेरे टीचर 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗸𝗏 का है. रीसेंट इंटरव्यू में उन्होंने बताया, एंड आई थिंक इट्स ब्रिलियंट. हमारे निज़ाम में इस वक्त इमोशनल सोशल हेल्थ in the typical school curriculum was at the bottom. Thanks to the pandemic, it has now come to the top, that the children's social emotional health and well-being is first and everything else follows later, hence the connection to happiness. ये तो एक बात. मैं जल्दी से 4 अल्फाज दे देना चाहता हूँ as we move towards the conclusion of the program. जिन वे आउट या वे फॉरवर्ड के हवाले से जो हमारा रुख है, so that we talk about it. Teachers as a profession को recognize करना होगा. Professional capital, ये बड़ा अच्छा लफ्ज है. Our professional capital is built by the members of the profession themselves. और उसके 3 अनासिर हैं. Number 1, personal capital, जिसको आप जाती स्किल सेट कहते हैं या कनेक्शंस कहते हैं, जो आप अपने साथ लाते हैं, अपनी सलाहियतें, आपका अपना स्किल सेट. ये हुआ पर्सनल कैपिटल. नॉलेज कैपिटल, देयर आर अदर वर्ड्स फॉर इट. उसके बाद है सोशल कैपिटल. दिस इज द डीप वन. Your relationships with society, with the community, the way you know the parents, the way you know your colleagues, and the way you know the children and their relatives and things like that. Social capital. और उसके बाद तीसरा है डिसिशनल कैपिटल. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट डिसिशनल कैपिटल. अगर आप एक टीचर से कहें कि आपकी क्लास में बोर्ड के ऊपर ये अल्फाज क्यों लिखे हुए हैं, तो कहते हैं जी मुझे क्या पता, यहाँ लेसन प्लान में ये लिखा है तो मैंने ये लिख दिए. एंड यानी मेरी अपनी राय का डिसीजन का कोई बीच नहीं है. एंड यू से आई एम सॉरी. डिसिशनल कैपिटल ही ये है. Are you able to take a good decision in the class while teaching that serves the children, all of them? Are you able to do this? ये 3 चीजें मिल करके बनती हैं प्रोफेशनल कैपिटल. तो ये ऑलमोस्ट एक चेकलिस्ट सा है. जब हम अपने असातिज़ा को पर्सनल कैपिटल बढ़ाने के मौके देंगे, सोशल कैपिटल ऑफ बॉन्डिंग की बात करेंगे, जिसे मैंने बिल्कुल शुरू में बात की कि स्टाफ रूम में ऐसी, यानी भाईचारा तो हमने सुना ही है, बहन चारा भी हो. न्यू वर्ड. लेट अस हैव अ बहन चारा बिकॉज मोस्ट टीचर्स आर विमेन. इतनी आपस की शेयरिंग और केयरिंग हो, अपने असबाक का, अपने लेसन्स की ट्रांसपेरेंसी हो, अपने पढ़ाने के अंदाज पे ओपननेस हो, फीडबैक लेने के लिए तैयारी हो. और बच्चों की बेहतरीन खिदमत के लिए एक डेडिकेशन हो, ये चीज़ें बनती हैं सोशल कैपिटल और डिसीजनल कैपिटल। ये तीनों चीज़ें मिल करके प्रोफेशनल कैपिटल क्रिएट होता है। हमारा ये रुख है जो मैं समझता हूँ कि पेंडेमिक का सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये होगा अगर टीचर्स अपना प्रोफेशन को प्रोफेशनल कैपिटल में तब्दील कर दें और उसकी तरफ बढ़ें। थैंक यू।
मैं सिर्फ एक बात कहना चाह रही थी, as a kind of a slogan, and I hope all of us commit to it and make it into a massive movement. What Abbas Saab said is really perfect. You know, yes, we need to move towards a very new reconceptualization of how we look at teachers as a force. But I think we should declare teachers as a frontline workforce in Pakistan. And when it comes to vaccination, etc., इतना उनसे इस वक्त हम काम ले रहे हैं, मगर हम उनको डिक्लेयर नहीं करते एज अ फ्रंटलाइन फोर्स ताकि उनको हम वैक्सीन दे सकें and they can go and help the students. We are not providing them any cover whatsoever for all the work that we are expecting from teachers. It's time we began to value our teachers, trust our teachers, and to be giving them opportunities without pushing assessments कि अब ये इम्तिहान होना है, वो इम्तिहान। जितने स्टूडेंट्स परेशान हैं उतने ही टीचर्स परेशान हैं by this हवा of the exams and the single national curriculum. खुदा के वास्ते it's time to reevaluate and to be able to spend 3 months of just being able to look at the emotional state of our students and their own states. I don't know how many have lost their own family members, have been affected by it. कोई तो ये पूछे उनसे, but declare them as the frontline workforce. That should be our major take from today. And we should be a part of a social movement, asking the president, the prime minister, the chief minister, everyone, to declare them as that.
You already, ma'am, but you already have given the answer to that, that this is the most neglected profession and the zero interest shown by the politicians. So that is why, who cares how the teachers are, they're going through right now. I have scores of questions in my mind. I want that I should keep on asking the questions apart from the timeline. But I am, I have some, that restrictions as well to complete the last question, just the last one. As you all have said, that this is very important that teacher education programs should be there and all that stuff. So the policies of the government, sometimes they say B.Ed and M.Ed is compulsory. Sometimes say that this is not compulsory for principals and for teachers. Sometimes, that the policies are continuously changing. So how do you see the future? Being very realistic, considering Pakistan's current situation, political systems, social standards, social systems, that what is ideal, that is one thing. But how do you see that what's coming for the future of teacher education programs to impart quality education? What is the title of today's lecture?
Well, I think first of all, I wanted to let you know that in the devolved setup, as you know, there was a time in 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 where they said that B.Ed, M.Ed ko chodo, just take teachers laterally if they know their knowledge and their content, unko lo, and then make them go through an induction program. I think we really do want to go a step beyond that, ताकि at least whatever the changing policies may be, देखिए ये तो नहीं कोई होगा कि teachers will be inducted without having the knowledge or the content knowledge of what they're supposed to teach. वो किसी ना किसी शक्ल में तो आएगा. मगर देखिए teachers की licensing बहुत important है as an equalizer. And with that needs a serious amount of work ताकि वो उसमें कुछ standardization or stability आए.
Ma'am, add one more thing, certification program which we were discussing before. Please also let us know the hardships, difficulties and the barriers which come on your way once you are not going to apply the teacher certification for the last 20 years. So थोड़ा सा उसको भी highlight कर दीजिएगा.
देखिए मसला ये है कि I think ये बिल्कुल political है एक तरफ और दूसरी तरफ मुझे लगता है कि ये एक नाअहलियत होने का सबूत है. यानी सिस्टम की नाअहलियत है कि एक सिंपल और कॉम्प्लेक्स इशू, यानी दोनों टीचर्स लाइसेंसिंग होनी चाहिए, सर्टिफिकेशन नहीं, लाइसेंसिंग की बात करें, लाइसेंसिंग होनी चाहिए. इसका फैसला एक एक ऐसे हिसाब से लेना चाहिए कि अगले 5 और 10 साल it will take 1 decade to sort it out, implement it, sort out its glitches and keep on reiteratively improving it. मगर इसके लिए पूरे मुल्क में एक maybe a team of 12 people so that every province is fully represented, and we have a team of 10-12 people together with any expert that needs to come from anywhere, और वो solidly बैठ के अगले 36 months or 24 months काम करे and to find out and to fine tune that ताकि इसकी हम रोल आउट तीसरे साल से शुरू करें. बट इसके लिए एक कमिटमेंट की जरूरत है, और ये नहीं है कि हर सूबा अपने अपनी 1.5 इंच की मस्जिद बसाए. नो, दिस नीड्स one group of people sitting together nationally to be able to decide, because licensing has to be seamless and has to be agreed across every province and area, and it needs a commitment so that there is a continuous improvement and development process over the next I don't know how many years. ये नहीं होता कि एक दफा लाइसेंसिंग हो गई तो हमने भूल गए. It needs a whole talk. हमारे यहाँ इतने प्रोफेशंस हैं, from architects to engineers to doctors to all of these people. तो इसको मेहरबानी से सीरियसली लीजिए और टीचर्स को एक रुतबा दीजिए, एक स्टेटस दीजिए, और उसमें आप जैसी इंस्टीट्यूशंस का बहुत बड़ा हाथ होगा. बट इट हैज टू बी डन as a national effort with every province fully represented in it, ताकि वो बैठ के seriously काम करें. Give them 24 months to sit and sort it out. From the 3rd year to start implementing, for 5 years to keep on implementing and improving with all its glitches, and then to see Pakistan on another level when it comes to teacher education. I'm not saying licensing is the only panacea. That is one important element. Unmute yourself, Naeem.
Sorry, sir. After Sir Abbas Husain gives the final words, the audience can ask the questions if there are any. You can ask so many questions, but 2 to 3 questions would be taken. Sir Abbas, kindly conclude.
जी. नहीं, माशाल्लाह, I cannot add anything to Baela Sahiba. It's an absolute vision. और उस हवाले से एक I am a hopeful person. लेकिन इस मामले में मुझे यूं लग रहा है कि हम शायद गलत लोगों से उम्मीद लगा के बैठे हुए. The hope does not lie with political effort. It lies with the professional dignity. Today, I find it amazing कि अगर वुकला की कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस हो और वहां कीनोट एड्रेस देने वाला कोई जज ही होगा, और कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट की कॉन्फ्रेंस हो तो कीनोट एड्रेस देने वाला कोई कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट ही होगा. वो दूसरे किडनी स्पेशलिस्ट को भी सुनना पसंद नहीं करेंगे. लेकिन टीचर्स की कॉन्फ्रेंस में ऐसे लोग कीनोट एड्रेस दे रहे हैं जिनका पहला जुमला ये है, मैं टीचर नहीं हूं, लेकिन तो वो लोग जो बरसा बरस क्लासरूम में बच्चों के साथ टाइम गुजार के आ रहे हैं, उनको मशवरा दे रहे हैं क्लासरूम मैनेजमेंट का वो बंदा जिनसे अपने 3 बच्चे नहीं मैनेज हो रहे घर में. सो ये पैराडॉक्स और ये एनोमली इतनी टेरिबल है कि मेरा रुख जो मेहनत का है वो बेला साहिबा का अपने लेवल पर लाइसेंसिंग एंड ऑल अग्रीड, बट मेरा रुख पूरा प्रोफेशन पर है कि भाई पूरे मोहल्ले के कचरे को दूर न कर, सिर्फ अपने घर के आंगन को साफ रख ले तो मोहल्ला साफ हो जाएगा. तू अपने घर को कर ले, अपने स्टाफ रूम में वफादारी कर ले, अपने बच्चों की खिदमत कर ले, एंड यू डन इट. सो दिस वुड बी माय टेक अवे इफ यू लाइक.
बहुत खूब कहा अब्बास. वाकई में ये डिग्निटी और ये सब कुछ, मगर you know it's a profession so poorly understood.
Ma'am, there is a question which has come from the audience. They said in today's time of education, the students are more focused to please the teachers rather learning at higher education. They think the teachers are going to give them marks. That is why instead of learning, they are going towards that thing. So what's your opinion?
आई मीन क्या सवाल। देखिए ये तो ये एक ऐसे तालिब इल्म की फरियाद है बुनियादी तौर पे कि जहाँ पे उसका वो उसको लगता है कि लर्निंग जो है उसका लर्निंग से ताल्लुक नहीं है मगर टीचर की प्लीजिंग से है। अब यहाँ इमेजिन करें कि कितने दुखी वो बच्चा है या बच्ची है जो कि एक वो लर्निंग की जो एक जर्नी है उससे हट गया है क्योंकि उसको लगता है कि शायद कोई और शॉर्टकट है। और आई थिंक इन अ वे दिस क्वेश्चन इटसेल्फ is highlights the entire tragedy of the education system that we are facing कि बच्चे को समझ ही नहीं आ रही, तलबा एक तालिब इल्म को समझ नहीं आ रही है कि उससे तवक्को है क्या, उससे तवक्को है क्या, उसकी लर्निंग जर्नी जो है वो बिल्कुल ही शॉर्ट सर्किट होगी। अब्बास आप क्या कहते हैं?
बिल्कुल नहीं जी, माशाल्लाह। इस पर मैं एक होप की बात बता दूं। इन द रियल वर्ल्ड यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के एक पेरेंट ने लेटर्स में लिखा और हमारी नजर से ही गुजरा कि ये जो ग्रेड के पीछे जो मैडनेस है, कहने लगे कि मेरी बेटी ने बहुत कोशिश की कि हार्वर्ड चली जाए। यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में हार्वर्ड इज द स्टैंडर्ड, और उसका एक क्लास फेलो था जो बहुत रईस माँ बाप का था और उसने कुछ कर करा के हार्वर्ड में दाखिला ले लिया। और मेरी बेटी को दाखिला ना मिला, उसने स्टैनफोर्ड में पढ़ा, वो भी ठीक है, नॉट बैड, चले, लेकिन उसका दिल बहुत दुखा। बट कुदरत का करना ऐसे हुआ कि दोनों का जो ट्रैजेक्टरी ऑफ करियर, द करियर ट्रैजेक्टरी वाज सच कि करते करते दोनों ने जिस फील्ड में काम किया, कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग, उसमें वो उधर हार्वर्ड से जाहिर है एक दिन तो डिग्री लेके पास आउट हुआ, ये मेरी बेटी भी पास आउट हुई। उधर वो कंपनी में इंटर्न बनी, उधर वो बंदा कंपनी में मैनेजर बना। कुदरत का करना ऐसा हुआ कि वो कंपनियां मर्ज हुई और वो बेटी जो है इंटरव्यू कर रही थी उसी साहबजादे को जो उसका क्लास फेलो था और हार्वर्ड में टेबल के सामने बैठा हुआ था फॉर द जॉब। देखिए, अल्टीमेटली कुदरत का एक जबरदस्त निजाम है जो असल स्किल्स वालों को ऊपर लाता है। ये टीचर की चापलूसी से मार्क्स लेने वाला बंदा यहाँ तो शायद कुछ थोड़े बहुत मार्क्स ले ले, लेकिन आप दिल बर्दाश्त ना हो, यू विल मेक इट। एंड इन द रियल वर्ल्ड अब तो मार्क्स और उसकी परवाह भी नहीं करते लोग,
परवाह नहीं,
आपकी
बिल्कुल ठीक है।
सलाहियतों की परवाह करते हैं। आप अपने स्किल सेट को बेहतर कीजिए एंड यू विल प्रिवेल, डोंट वरी अबाउट दिस। ये लम्हाती बात है, ये बहुत बड़ी
आपकी
बात नहीं।
सॉफ्ट स्किल्स और एप्लीकेशन स्किल्स बहुत
जी,
इंपॉर्टेंट है।
बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट।
अच्छा, क्वेश्चन पहले भी इसका एड्रेस किया जा चुका है कि व्हाट इज द फ्यूचर ऑफ टीचर एजुकेशन, तो आई गेस हमने एडिक्वेटली इसको पहले एड्रेस कर लिया है, फ्यूचर एजुकेशन को। एक और क्वेश्चन आया कि जी सिंध गवर्नमेंट क्यों नहीं बीएड एमएड को कंपलसरी करती, पीएसटी एसएसटीज के लिए ग्रेजुएट्स ले लेती है, बीए बीकॉम, वो क्या पढ़ाएंगे बच्चों को जाके। एक बच्चे ने खुद बीए बड़ी मुश्किल से बीकॉम किया हुआ है और वो जाके बच्चों को पढ़ाएगा, तो क्या कोई क्राइटेरिया नहीं है कि उसको कुछ टीचिंग स्किल्स हो? तो इस पे
मैं इस सवाल को, लेट मी कम एट इट फ्रॉम अनदर एंगल। अमर्त्य सेन एक नोबेल प्राइज विनर हैं इकोनॉमिक्स के, उन्होंने टीचिंग प्रोफेशन के बारे में एक अच्छा जुमला कहा है, इन एवरी सोसाइटी the failure of teachers is a demand issue, is a supply issue. Sorry, the teaching is a failure of supply. हर माशरे में टीचर्स की कमी है, ज्यादती नहीं है। तो ये एक स्टॉप गैप अरेंजमेंट है कि जब एक्चुअल फिजिकल टीचर्स ही नहीं हैं, बीएड वाले लोग या वो भी, अगर आपने ये फिल्टर्स लगाना शुरू किए तो ऑलरेडी जो निज़ाम में गैप्स हैं वो और बढ़ जाएं। तो ये एक इमरजेंसी मेजर के है और मैं नहीं समझता इसका शॉर्टकट में कोई जवाब है, बट उम्मीद है कि थिंग्स विल इम्प्रूव एंड द लाइसेंसिंग एंड द क्वालिफिकेशन एंड ये लाइन चलेंगी। ये लॉन्ग टर्म चीज है जी, जो इन दिनों का मौजू नहीं हो सकता।
अच्छा, मैडम प्रेसिडेंट हैज जॉइंड अस, आई गेस। मैम, कैन यू हियर अस? मैडम शहनाज, कैन यू हियर अस प्लीज?
ओके, अच्छा, हाँ, ओके,
कैरी ऑन।
ऑलराइट,
Achaji, there is a question, is there any time of restriction regarding licensing for a home tutor or any on-campus teacher? Samra Husain ka question screen pe display ho raha hai. I don't think so.
None whatsoever.
No idea.
We don't have licensing. We don't have licensing at all. In fact, what I did want to add was कि हमारे जो B.Ed के courses भी हैं, they need a massive rehaul. And आपको मालूम है कि हमारे यहाँ ना inclusiveness को space दी जाती है, ना ये जो अब्बास ने बहुत अच्छा expose दिया social capital की, उसकी कोई skills हम दे रहे हैं, ना हम we do a sprinkling of many things, but we are not doing solid stuff. अब इस वक्त हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी और डिस्टेंस लर्निंग के बहुत सारे फॉर्मेट सामने आ रहे हैं और हमारे यहाँ ये जो सारा एरिया है ऑफ सॉफ्ट स्किल्स दैट नीड्स टू बी पुट अप, सो देयर इज अ मैसिव नीड ऑफ अ ओवरऑल ऑफ टीचर एजुकेशन इटसेल्फ. हम किसी से खुश नहीं हैं इस वक्त. So I think that in itself needs another webinar, and maybe that's a very good topic to speak about. What really is the urgency of the overhaul of the teacher education programs that we are offering? And I think that would be a very substantive topic to discuss. I think it's high time. आपको याद होगा जब ये 4ed B.Ed की तरफ हम जाने लगे तो बहुत सारी डिस्कशंस थी और सब कुछ थे और फिर ADI और वगैरह वगैरह, associate degree etc. But I think that happened ages ago, and especially after the pandemic we need more. यानी यकीन कीजिए कि कोई emergency preparedness की discussion नहीं है, कोई health services और linkages of schools to health services की नहीं है. Teachers are completely gobsmacked and lost के what to do, how to make those linkages. और हमने silos में education, health, हर चीज़ को operate करवाया है. So truly it needs a very different way of looking at things, and I think a different way of looking at it, where do all these key players stand? Be it the teacher, the student, the parent, the caregiver, the assistant teachers, and the role of these new assistant teachers. Because ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हम वही पुराने paradigm को लेकर teacher education में चले. अब तो we are talking about team teaching, जैसे health में होता है. एक doctor के साथ एक पूरे assistants होते हैं. It's a whole theater of actors. Where are the theater of actors? Where is the theater of actors when it comes to teachers and education in Pakistan? Nothing. Still the one teacher story. No more.
So
I think we absolutely deserve.
Yes, ma'am. But you know that we feel at SZABIST very proud of that. That you know that this education department and education program. I don't know about the other university status, but in Karachi at SZABIST, you know that sometimes it becomes very difficult to lead such programs. You know that these doesn't give any profit, and sometimes it becomes a liability. But the management of SZABIST and even the education department, Dr. Naeem, she must have been listening as well. So they people have been very much, you know, that concerned about teacher education program. You can see right now she has been asking this question again and again, that what is the future of teacher education program, concerns on that, webinars on that, because we can sense and we can see the people are not interested, and especially the governments, they are not interested in, you know, that cooperating with these programs and helping these programs out. So if Madam Shahnaz Wazir Ali and anyone can just sum up, because she's asking this question. So what do you see the teacher education program's future in Pakistan? And the other question is there, the psychological well-being of the teachers as well. Someone asked me psychological well-being to become a teacher. Aisha Osman is there. Ma'am President, if you could speak something at the end, Madam Shahnaz.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes,
perfect.
we can.
I think that there's a problem, so I'm just listening.
We can hear you, Shahnaz. Please say something.
Oh,
we can hear you
I don't believe it. I've been listening to the very, very interesting discussion. It looks like somebody's had some pity on my participation in this webinar and finally connected the internet. Clearly, there's no doubt there needs to be a very, very deep reform in teacher education. There has, in fact, the world has changed so much. Both the world outside the schools, the world within the schools, and the world of the child, of the student. And teaching pedagogy, the world of knowledge, the additional technologies that we have changed so much, and our teacher education programs are not reflecting that. So that's at one level. I think that if one was to just mark a set of identifiers, which would give you more than good rationale for a complete review, like Dr. Baela was saying. The other is that clearly there are models around the world that one can look at. I don't think that one is always writing on a clean slate. We're not here just with the Rosetta Stone every time. There are things other countries have done. There are other systems that have tried different ways of teaching children. And not only teaching, but interacting with children. Because one of the things that COVID has taught us, it has brought to the fore a different type of a set of skills which young people have, which the teacher in the class did not possess. In fact, in many cases, teachers are learning from students. What are the right platforms? How do you use certain types of technology, IT-based technologies, social platforms, access to virtual resources? Our teachers were very traditionalists. I mean, teaching is a very traditionalist profession, although the world has moved on. So I do think that while we are sort of tied, to the whole old concepts of BA, B.Ed, M.Ed, M.S., maybe in education degrees, but there's a real need for revamping it. So a task force, I don't like to use the traditional term, but I agree with Dr. Baela, a group of people, a group of reformers, a group of thinkers, a group of people who know what the world is doing, no longer in those places where they are showing higher levels of not only student academic achievement, but of actualizing the potential of students in a whole range of ways. They are not doing one teacher, one classroom. They're not running schools in the same old traditional way, 35 minutes or 40 minutes per classroom scheduling. These are management approaches that we've taken. That's one of the tragedies, obviously, in the education sector, that we do something which is convenient to manage. Why do we have timetables the way we do? Why do we change it into blocks that are of equal length for every subject, and every student has to do 40 minutes of math and social studies, Islamiyat, science, etc.? That's not how learning takes place. Schools are doing integrated learning. They're doing conceptual project-based integrated learning. Different teachers come in at different times to teach the students. Students move out of their classrooms. So I think we don't have too much time left, and I really do feel bad I could not participate, but I was listening. I had the technical connection with all of you, and I did listen to what I think were very, very thoughtful and very, I would say, thought-provoking comments, both by Dr. Baela Jamil and Abbas Husain Saab. So Dr. Naeem, I think there is much food for thought here. And there is also a marker for the way forward. I would suggest that maybe we sit down together, even with Dr. Baela and Abbas Saab, and chart a set of maybe 3-4 more such discussions, webinars, with a bit of focus, because, the education sector otherwise is a vast sea, and we can get a bit drowned in it. So what is achievable? What is implementable? What is practical? And where are those coalition partners across Pakistan? So this is not just about an officially notified group of people working on something, but this is really something that's coming out from our own profession. I really buy that idea, Abbas, that, when the doctors have a conference, it's the doctors who speak. When the accountants have a conference, it's the leading accountants who speak. And similarly in other professions. Let us, as you said, build on our professional capital. And if SZABIST can play a part, and I hope we can, we would be more than happy to organize maybe a series of 3-4 such sessions in different formats to take these thoughts forward.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. It's nice listening to all of you. And for that purpose, I must say that this is all about bringing the change into the field of education. And it's not about the traditional sets of programs which SZABIST is offering these days. And it's all about the practical programs and the practical notions of these programs we are trying to offer here. And we are trying to build the new norms, especially when we say that teachers are learning from the students, and this dimension should be inculcated into the mind of the teachers, that they should be tolerant, they should understand that things are changing right now, and these programs of B.Ed, M.Ed, M.S. and other teacher training programs would definitely help to changing dimensions of education and teacher education programs. I would look forward, definitely Ma'am Shahnaz has said, so I would look forward to have there's some more programs, because I said I have scores of questions in my mind to learn from you people. It's just really a privilege for me and for the audience as well. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz from my side.
Thank you very much. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you.
Khuda Hafiz.